this is somebody that there's different levels to like filmmaking. You know, I'm sure all of us like think of different people in different levels, and this is one guy that I see like through the roof. You know, and I actually had the pleasure of working with him, and not only did I have the pleasure of working with him, he was like so chill to work with, and we worked so well together. I just look back sometimes and like on Instagram, and he'll DM me. I'm just like, yeah, I'm friends with that dude. Like, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he's that type of guy. No, I'm serious. I'm being dead honest. And right now, he was telling me that he DP'd that video. Yeah, he DP'd Eminem 3 AM, which was like a huge starting point for my career. All the glitches. I'm not sure how many of you guys have seen that video, but it was so inspirational for me at the time, and like. Yeah, it pretty much just kind of established my style as far as what I wanted to recreate. And then we had the pleasure of doing Lolly, which was with Justin Bieber. So, yeah, without further ado, he's gonna go ahead and give you all the spiel about, he does features. He's like the real deal right here, you know what I mean? The real deal. Brandon Cox, please, ladies and gentlemen. DP, cinematographer, all the above.
I'll take this. All right, thanks. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for having me. Glad to be here. Matt told me he was doing this thing, and like he said, we worked together on the Lolly video. And I said, yeah, man, I'd love to. He asked me to come out and speak, and I said I'd love to. So it's great. So what I'm going to show you is just, I did a film last year that's going to come out this year with RZA from Wu-Tang. He directed it, and thank you. Wu-Tang in the house, all right. And anyway, so we did this movie. It's called Cutthroat City. We premiered the trailer at Comic-Con this year because there's a comic book element to the movie, but I won't give it away. But it's got Shameik Moore, who was in Dope, and then he also voiced the voice for Miles Morales in the Spider-Man movie. T.I., Demetrius Shipp, who was also played Tupac in the biopic. T.I., Wesley Snipes, Terrence Howard, Cat Graham, and the list goes on of people, Isaiah Washington, all these great people. So here's, it's a little dark, so sorry if you can't see some of it, but you can go online and check it out on YouTube. So I'll just play this, and then we'll go from there, and we can talk more about it.
Storm's coming.
The storm did come.
Hurricane Katrina. Nothing short of apocalyptic.
We was underwater before Katrina. And they rebuilding all this. What about us?
Damn, we all broke, man. FEMA's a goddamn joke. This happened just how they wanted.
Maybe you're a talented, educated black man.
Well, none of that matter. Nah, cause I'm still in the ninth ward.
What are we gonna do?
With FEMA here and no cops, we all need the money.
But we ain't no gangsters. Could be our only option.
Did y'all know Katrina means purification? Yeah.
You black from the lower ninth. You recognize what you up against. Can't run away from it. Ain't no ignoring it. Deal with.
Okay, so that's what I've been doing lately. But where I got my start was in music videos. And so doing music videos it's a stepping stone to features for me, because my whole goal was to always do features. And through a series of events, when I was younger, I had a Super 8 camera, started on film. I'm an old man, so yeah. So I started on film, made movies with my friends, and then I went to art school, and I wanted to be a comic book illustrator, and dabble with that a little bit. I drew my whole life, but I got burnt out from that, and I took a film class, and that was it. All I did was pursue filmmaking. And I didn't decide to be a cinematographer because I learned how to edit, I learned how to direct, write, shoot, sound, everything. But then for some reason I focused towards the camera because that felt right. So, and it felt more like I had a pencil in my hand, said it was a camera. So, and then once I started shooting, that was it, you know. So from art school, I went to the American Film Institute, which is here in Los Feliz. And then there I met this Norwegian DP who's a huge DP as now. His name's Kjetil Dietrichson. And when we graduated, I think a week after I got out of school, he called me and said, hey, I need a camera operator. I got my first American music video. It's a country music video. Yeah, sure. I did it for free. And then after that, he called me again and he said, oh, I got this video with, what was the name of the group? I think it was, Pretty Ricky. That was it. And he's like, I need a second camera. And by the way, you're going to work with this director who's repping my director. His director was Ray K, right? And the guy who repped Ray K was a place at Rock Hard Films, this guy named Mark Klossfeld. So he's like, yeah, you're going to work with Mark Klossfeld. So I looked him up and I saw all these videos Mark did, huge videos. And I'm like, great, okay, here we go. Time to prove yourself. And you know, this was on film. There was no reds then, 435, Airy, Ultra Primes, 500 speed film, 200 speed film, whatever. And I shot second unit, it was great. And then we did it again, they called me again. So I started shooting second unit on all these videos and just accruing all this footage. And then Kjetil would have me come to Company 3, which is a post facility here. If a lot of you guys don't know, and they have like the best colorists in the world. And they color huge videos and huge movies there, and started to see how the DP speaks with the colorists, how the director speaks with the colorists, how you start to set looks, how you start to establish looks. And then one thing led to another. I just kept doing this with my friend, and that one of the producers caught their eye and said, hey, Brandon, you should shoot. So I accrued all this footage. My friend gave it to me and he said, go get an agent. And this producer helped me. I got an agent, and then boom, I started shooting. And I did that from 2005 until 2014. And along the way, I shot a few features, but I got lucky and I got in with Chris Brown. I did like one of Chris Brown's third video, Yo, Excuse Me, Miss, did that. I did Young Jeezy when he was coming up, Soul Survivor. The first video I ever did was a Backstreet Boys video. And the funny thing was, it was based on, there's an old documentary from the 80s called Heavy Metal Parking Lot. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but it's basically, it looks like it was shot with a home video camera, like a really old home video camera, and it looked like garbage. And the director's like, oh, I want it to look just like that. So I was like, oh, you're gonna start my career and destroy it at the same time, because it's gonna look like crap. But people got the joke, and it was great. But anyway, I got into a lot of hip hop videos, and I got to, finally I got to work with the ultimate, which was Eminem. I worked with him a few times, and then Linkin Park was another group I got to work with. But along the way, Matt and I got together because we had a mutual friend, a producer, this guy named Kareem Johnson, who's incredible. His whole family is in the film business. His sister is a producer. His father was a huge gaffer who gaffed for me a few times in Atlanta. And he put Matt and I together, and we did that Lolly video. So, videos have been kind to me, but they've also, it was another film school, because I've taken how fast you have to work there and brought it to features. And a director I'm working with now, not RZA, but there's this other director I'm working with. I do a lot of action movies. We work incredibly fast, and I got that from shooting music videos very fast. So, they all work hand in hand, and just, I think it's great what Matt's doing here today, because he's giving back, and I wanted to do the same thing. So anyway, if anybody has any questions so far or anything, because I know Matt wants to get up here, but yeah. How did I get an agent? From that producer that noticed me shooting, she knew an agent. She knew many agents, and so she called her friend who was an agent, and we met, and it was like that. That's how it was. I mean, I know that's not the normal route, but I was incredibly lucky to have somebody do that. So yeah, that's how I got an agent. Yeah.
What advice do you have for somebody starting out?
I mean, I think, like, I've heard it a few times, from this morning. Just shoot, man. Whether it's a Sony or a Canon, even your iPhone. I think as long as you're making images and making stories and telling, it shouldn't matter what it is, because eventually you'll get your hands on a Red, and eventually you'll get your hands on a Alexa or whatever. And I think by just shooting content constantly and feeding your brain, always watching movies, always watching videos, whatever it is, whatever you like, whatever kind of movies you like, watch those movies. Whatever cinematographers you like, go on IMDb, look up every single movie they've shot. Go to the library, go online, get a subscription to American Cinematographer. That's like a Bible right there. I mean, when I was at art school, they had issues back from the 60s and 50s. I'd go in there, I'd read everything I could and find out what film stocks they used. Then I'd go shoot the film stock and try it. So, like I said, just feed your brain images, always try to shoot, and somebody will find your work. Yeah, American Cinematographer, yeah, and it's online as well. And you can get it. What's a magazine? Oh, right, exactly. That's why I said it's online too. What was the question in the back? I saw somebody raise their hand. I do, yeah. At Partos Company. It's a smaller agency, but yeah, I like them. I was in between agents actually, but I decided to stay there, so. But yeah, oh yeah, one more.
So when should you proceed, when should you look for an agent?
I think if you're starting to get work consistently and you feel that you're accrued enough and you want to move up and try to go up another level, that's when I would start approaching agents. Is then, because I mean, you're not going to just shoot one thing and go, yeah, I need an agent. It's not going to work like that, you know. You have to have something for them because they also have to sell you, you know. Because sometimes agents don't want to do the work. They just want to like, oh, this guy's worked with this one. Oh, I could sell this guy, you know. But they need something, you know. So you have to have something for them. So it's like a trade-off. Yeah.
How do you know what agents to go? Let's say you're blessed enough to have a big group, you know, agents that want to work with you, let's say, you know, this one to go with.
I look at it like this. Agents are going to get their 10%, right? I wouldn't go with an agent you wouldn't want to go to dinner with. Does that make sense? You know, don't go with an agent that's like a car salesman. Or you're going to sit there and wax your car all day, you know? You want somebody that's going to fight for you, but also be your friend, right? Yeah.
As an up-and-comer DP, it's pretty often that I'm working on pretty micro-level budgets, just trying to get my foot in the door. That being said, with with your expectation of what you're capable of doing and the amount of money that you've been given to do it, those two things don't really go together very often. Take, for instance, like a nighttime exterior when you barely have
enough lights.
You know, yeah, when you only have...
I've been there.
When you only have 650s to deal with.
Yeah.
How would you... What's your advice with a workaround method for finding that middle area so that you can preserve how good you want the project to be without having to ask for more money?
I think it's about setting expectations, right? So, you know, you get a lot of these producers and directors, not you, thinking that, like, you know, they want... Of course. And you get put in these circumstances where, you know, these people are like, oh, they want Titanic, and you're like, dude, I got Big Lots. What do you like for like? Don't mean to use those references, but I mean, you
$500. They want me to make the Yosemite video from Travis Scott.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're fucking crazy, man. That's not going to happen, right? And you have to set expectations. I mean, I know you want to do the job, but I mean, I've had to tell producers, you're fucking crazy. No, it's not going to happen. I need this, this, and this. And if you want it to look like that, it's got to be like that. Now, I know you can't say that, but I've gotten to the point where I can say that, right? But when you're coming out, but you still have to give them realistic expectations. You're like, guys, look, I have 3 650s. If you just give me maybe a putt-putt and like a one big light, you know, or if you're doing it, like what I've done with really small independent films, I've used, like if there are a lot of interiors, I use all lights you can plug in the wall, right?
Sure.
Now you've got... Yeah, because I didn't come up with light panels and light gears and quasars and shit like that.
Well, I'm working with Fresnels still.
I mean, yeah,
Fresnels.
Me too. So now you have all these things you can plug in the wall, right?
Right.
But what I did was, if I'd have an independent film that's like $1 million, 800,000, whatever, I'd say, okay, all this stuff we're going to do, plug in lights we can use in the house. But I know I'm going to have 1 or 2 big night exteriors. So give me the money for that, and give me the putt-putts for that. And we'll put all the concentration for that, for the big lighting setup, but then you can take it back, and then we'll scale down. I mean, that's the best thing. But you have to be firm on that stuff, you know? Even though you don't want to ruffle any feathers, sometimes you have to. And that, you know, you got to stand your ground, and they may not like it, but that's how you get shit done.
Do I have time for one more?
Yeah, man.
How do you light for a green screen? How do you approach that?
It just depends on what it is, you know. Well, obviously it depends on what the subject is. But if you're lighting for a green screen, you light the background, obviously.
Right.
And, you know, whatever 2 stops more than whatever your subject is, or 2 stops lower, whatever your subject is, just make it sure it's flat. But they can key out anything now.
Right, right.
You know, but that's pretty much what it is. But now you can even light with friggin' quasars, man. Just turn them green and put them on there, and it even adds as well.
True. Yeah.
You know, but technology is incredible now. So it's like, I was telling Matt, when we did the Lolly video, LED technology was still really in its infancy.
Right.
So we did it all with Fresnels and Kino flows. I don't even know where, I haven't used a Kino in 2 years. I mean, I love Kino flows, but now it's like, because I hated LEDs because I didn't trust them because flicker and all that. But now they're so stable and they're great. You can put them anywhere.
Sure.
You know, so they're great.